All right, I'm going to take a fraction and I'm going to convert that fraction into a decimal. There's a couple of different ways that we can go here, and I'll show both of them to you. One of them works some of the time, one of them works all of the time. So one that would work some of the time. So let's say, for example, let's say I've got, I don't know, we'll say 4/5. So I've got 4/5, and I am trying to convert this into a decimal. Now, if I can make the denominator of this be either 10, 100, or 1,000, that would make this a whole lot easier process. I happen to know that if I take 4/5 and multiply it times 2/2, I'll get a denominator of 10. Okay? So 4 times 2 is 8. So that is telling me this is 8/10. Well, if I wrote 8/10 as a decimal, well, that's pretty simple. There would be no ones and 8 in the tenths place. So there it is. Now, they're not always that simple, but this one happens to be. Okay, there are some that I would have to make a denominator of 100, and some I'd have to make a denominator of 1,000. But let's say that you have, I guess you'd say, the worst case scenario. You've got a fraction that you cannot take that denominator and make the denominator into a 10, a 100, or 1,000. That would be as bad as it's going to be. So, for example, let's say that I've got the fraction 1/8. Okay, I can't take and multiply that 8 times anything and make 10. Can't multiply times anything and make 100. Now, I can multiply times something and get 1,000, but that's a little tougher. So this one right here that I'm doing always works. I can always take any fraction, including the one I did over here on the left, and convert it to a decimal. And by doing this, I got it. So I can always take the numerator, which is the top number of the fraction, and I can always divide it by, in fact, I'm going to keep the same color. I can always divide by the denominator, which is the bottom number of the fraction. Now, this is the second time we've done something like this. This is exactly how we took improper fractions and converted them to mixed numbers. And it's how we take any fraction and convert it to a decimal. So remember, it is always numerator divided by denominator. I know when you set this problem up at first, you're going to think, no, this can't possibly be right, but it is. Okay? I can't do it the way that it is right now. However, what I need to remember is that 1, like any number, has a decimal behind it. And if I add a 0 here, all of a sudden this problem comes where I can do it. So I'm going to move the decimal up here, and then I can kind of not pay attention to the decimal I put down underneath the brackets and work it out. So 8 goes into 10 one time. So I would subtract it right there and get 2 left over. Well, I don't want to have any remainder, so I add a 0 here, bring it down. So 8 goes into 20 2 times, and I get 16, and I'm going to have a remainder of 4. Don't want a remainder, so I'm going to bring a 0, bring it down. So how many times does 8 go into 40? It goes in 5 times. So I'm going to get 40 underneath there, and I'm going to have nothing left over, which is just perfect because this is my decimal. So 1/8 is equal to 125 thousandths. That's exactly what 1/8 is. So this one always works. And just remember, it is always, 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 always numerator divided by denominator. You will never do it the other way around. Okay, hopefully this makes it to where you can work problems like this now.